Chapter 49. It's a red gate. It's a special gate that connects them to another world. Once they step their foots inside, the gate closes completely and nobody can come to help them. It's a place they cannot escape until the boss is dead or the dungeon open on its own. An A-rank hunter, Kim Chul, is taking responsibility for their survival since they were all stranded in the forest. A group of 6 people divided from Kim Chul and decided to go through the red gate on their own. Kim Chul let them, but he felt they wouldn't survive on their own because their group was being led by an E-rank hunter. But they continued their journey anyway. Chapter 50. After Kim Chul's group and the other group, led by a capable, handsome young man, divided and went their different ways. Kim Chul and his followers encountered a bear which they later killed, while the latter group were in the area that's covered with ice bear territory marking while they were on their way. He Jin, who is the only female amidst them, challenged their leader of how dangerous the forest might be. She suggested they go back before it becomes too late to turn back, but their leader ignored her and summoned a spatial magic, which stunned all of them. They wondered how strange their leader is for summoning a spatial magic. After they were clothed to prevent cold, then a bear appeared in the midst. Fear gripped them, but their leader confronted the bear without letting them intervene. He killed the bear with his bare hand, and they gathered around the fire they made and ate the meat of the bear. Just after the meal, the leader said he would go for an exercise, which made him fought with bears again. This action surprised the others. Chapter 50. Sung Jin Woo has leveled up to 52 for battling ice bears. He recruited shadow monsters as well. Kim Chul, on the other hand, was attacked alongside with his group members. They blamed him for not fetching them food, which might have made them weak and incapable to fight back. Kim Chul blamed himself and regretted his action. When he made his way out of the bloody scenes while his group members has been killed, he met some ice bears in the pool of their own blood. So he wondered who could be so powerful to kill such huge ice bears. He thought of the guys who divided from him, but he believed they wouldn't have been so powerful to kill those bears. He immediately remembered Hyaki. He said Hyaki would be the one who's so powerful to kill those bears, so he left the scene before he get caught by Hyaki. Chapter 52. While Kim Chul was wandering around, he eventually entered where Jin Woo's camp was. The others were feasting and sitting around the fire when Kim Chul appeared. Before he voiced out and let them know he was around, he was soliloquizing to himself on how they got so much food when his own group was wiped out because of lack of food. When he called out to them in order to let them know he was there, He Jin was flabbergasted to see Kim Chul. Kim Chul scared them and threatened if they don't speak out who gathered all the food they had. He Jin was terrified while Kim Chul was still counting and expecting them to mention who gathered food for them. While Kim Chul was drawing his dagger, Jin Woo appeared behind him and hit. There was a relief and a wave of excitement among them. They were all happy to see Jin Woo coming to their rescue, especially He Jin. Just as they were discussing, an ice elf appeared. Chapter 53. Jin Woo faced with the ice elves. Baruka, who is the leader of the ice elves, seems friendly at first until he asked Jin Woo to hand over the humans behind him. Jin Woo's group members were scared and terrified. They knew there would be a battle soon, and they wouldn't be able to fight ice elves, so they hid behind Jin Woo. Baruka asked Jin Woo to hand over the humans, but he refused. Charmingly, he is a loving captain who cares so much about his followers, just as Jin Woo refused to hand over them. Ice elves appeared in numbers, which terrified Jin Woo's followers. Jin Woo's shadow monsters also appeared in number, which surprised the humans. Between a twinkle of an eye, they started fighting, and it seemed like it wasn't alone Baruka that was stronger and wanting to kill Jin Woo, but Kim Chul as well. Chapter 54. The battle began between the ice elves and Jin Woo's shadow monsters. Kim Chul intruded the battle and fought with Jin Woo, who is his target, but surprisingly Jin Woo won over him. Baruka and his army fought against Jin Woo's shadow monsters. Jin Woo knew Baruka would be stronger and he wouldn't be easy to defeat, but he knew he could defeat him anyway. Jin Woo threw his sword away and stood in front of Baruka. Baruka smirked and wondered how in the name of hell would he defeat him without his sword. And as predicted, Jin Woo defeated all the elves with his bare hands. His power leveled up. He leveled up. His followers were so flabbergasted. They asked him what else they would do, and he told them that they should go back. They were confused at first till he said they should go out of the gate since the boss in the dungeon has been killed. They all rejoiced because they were going home, eventually. Chapter 55. The gate was opening. Baek Yunho, the guild master of White Tiger, was patiently waiting and curious for the opening gate. They were expecting them since they all got stuck in there, but they never knew they could be a single survivor in the Red Gate. Just as they gate open and it was gone, they were all surprised to see them, most especially when they didn't see Kim Chul among them. They were surprised and asked where Kim Chul is, but they got the answer to their questions without anyone answering them because they could see him among them. They were all leaving, so Jin Woo decided to give Hye Jin a ride home. Park Eun-ho stopped Jin Woo for some questioning, but he wasn't ready for sure interrogation because he was quite tired. His actions soon became threat, but Jin Woo didn't stop anyway. He just left him wondering what he's being made of. Jin Woo offered Hye Jin a ride home though. It was middle night. Chapter 56, Jin Woo took Hyung-nam, someone who's more like a friend to him, on a raid. He showed him how he can summon his shadow monsters, and Hyung-nam was so surprised than he could have ever be. Few minutes later, they went back to a restaurant where they could at least have a decent talk. And while they were talking, Hyung-nam talked about how desperate his affection of having a brother is, and Jin Woo is also more like a brother to him. Jin Woo thought of how Hyung-nam has helped him in the past and had loved him like his own brother, so they both agreed on being each other's brother. Jin Woo accepted to be Hyung-nam's elder brother, which made him so much excited like never before. They both hugged each other while Hyung-nam was crying. While this was happening, the reporters reported on TV about the incident that happened at the Red Gate, and Baek Yoon-ho was also listening to the news. He wondered how they made it out of the gate. Even they are all low-ranked hunters. But there's a rumor that someone helped them out of the gate. Chapter 57. Jin Woo was leaving his house with a baggage. Then his sister called him and asked where he was heading to. He told her he was going on a trip and he would be spending a week there. His sister asked if he was going on that trip with someone. Jin Woo said he would going alone and back in a week's time. After some hours, he arrived at a gate covered with flames. He realized there's an item with him, which is a key that can open the demon castle's door obtained by killing the gatekeeper. He remembered that when he defeated Kerberos, it was at least 20 levels higher than him. Now his levels are 3 times higher. Demon Castle is filled with demons. Jin Woo is accepted to hunt down demons and call their souls for special rewards. The quest completion requirement is 10,000 demon souls. He knew if he happens to kill all the demons in the castle, he would be rewarded greatly. But he was surprised that the demons were many than he was expecting, but he confronted them anyways. While he was attacking them and killing the demons, he realized they were quite easy to kill, but that it would take a long time before he would kill all of them and gain his rewards. He used a trip and an excuse for slaying demons in a castle. The Guildmaster of White Tiger was discussing with his son when Myung-hon entered. The Guildmaster invited him over to the table and introduced him as one of the survivors in the recent Red Gate incident to his son. They interrogated him and made him tell the truth about the person who saved them and made them out of the Red Gate alive. He spilled the beans and mentioned Jin Woo to them. He went as far as describing who Jin Woo is to both father and son, which made them start searching for Jin Woo, who has such great potential for slaying a boss in the Red Gate. Chapter 58. James A-rank Hunter, who was more like a monster, was stuck in the A-rank dungeon. He was taken away because they thought he might put the city in grave danger. Jin Woo was still fighting with the demons when he summoned his shadow monsters to fight against the demon. He has slain many demons, which makes his stats to continue increasing, and he was super excited for seeing such happening. He realized the 1 week he told his sister wouldn't work because the killing of demons takes more time than he thought. Chapter 59. The ruler of the lower floors, Avarikya Vulcan, was more powerful than Jin Woo expected. When Jin Woo hit him, the ruler used his skill Wrath to maintain its rage, a skill similar to Kerberos. With this, Vulcan's stats increased such that Jin Woo needed iron to help him block the attack Vulcan made at him while he thought of a counterplan. However, Jin Woo's attack was expected by the monster, and he had to activate Dominator's touch to push himself back, realizing that he had to reel Volsa's Grodake movements to deal servers damage. Jin Woo saw on opening a nearly collapsed building. Taunting the monster into following him, he attacked it on its head fiercely. Meanwhile, An Sang-min and Park The-jin were wondering Jin Woo's whereabouts, which seemed ambiguous as he wasn't at home, nor was his credit card money used, neither did he travel abroad. Whilst Jin Woo defeated Vulcan, Chapter 60. With Vulcan's defeat came new additions as his rewards, one of which was the World Tree's fragment, which he decided to keep. The Demon Monarch's earring he acquired has 2 locked retifacts. The Orb of Aware he got could double magic damage and can only be used by Jin Woo. In Washington, USA, hater Song Dengzu was in an interrogation room with Sung. It was told him he was a human and that dungeons, gate and monsters are prelude to the incoming greatest disasters, the real war, which had woken up not too long ago. He didn't divulge the details, which made Huang Dengzu doubt him. Looking at Sung It Woo's details, he discovered that Sung Jin Woo was his son. Feeling the absurd need to exact revenge, he lied to the deputy directs that It Woo was a monster and that the place should be evacuated. He told It One that Jin Woo was dead and that he should hand his will directly to his son. Meanwhile, in the instant dungeon quest, Jin Woo and his army were in a battle with an army of Indeed. With a flourish of several strikes, he killed the Undead's leader. Chapter 61. After defeating the Guide of Souls, Meta Sung Jin Woo received 220 demon souls and leveled up. They couldn't extract Meta's shadow as he was a demon. One of the set-piece effect was unlocked, so he still had to defeat a boss-grade monster, but the quest was already complete. Feeling to try it at the moment to continue forward, he looked at the system for his rewards, choosing the cured item box which grants him what he really needs. He was a bit surprised to find out that its content was a key with no description. He received 20 bonus stats which he chose to invest in his intelligence stats. The hidden reward he received was a receipt for crafting the Holy Water of Life. In the USA, a huge fire erupts from a battle between 2 S-rank hunters, Hong Dong-soo and Sung It One. It was a major shock to find out that Hong Dong-soo lost completely. Song Jin-woo visited his mom in the hospital. He had 2 of the needed items to craft the Holy Water of Life. The last item, purified blood of the Demon King, was likely to be on the upper floor. He had it cleared yet. Vowing to get it, he urged his mom to wait for him. At the Korean Hunters Association, Jin Woo came to get his rank re-evaluated. Bak Ueda was alerted by an employee there. Chapter 62. Sung Jin Woo sat in the waiting rooms with several hunters who were also there to evaluate their rank. While waiting, one of the hunters told them not to be nervous. There were scouts from small guilds trying to recruit D-rank or higher hunters. But since small guilds have a higher death ratio, the hunter advised not to join those guilds. Rank is of huge importance to a hunter as nothing can bridge the gap in 2 different ranks, not to mention the income difference. Jin Won recalled Mr. Song Churged and Kang Tae-sik's fight. The next person was feeling too nervous to go inside and asked Jin Woo to enter first. While inside, he was told to place his hand on the black crystal and wait. The employee in charge was shocked as the system showed an error. They tried 2 more times, and it was still the same. Her senior walked in and was surprised Chang Sik was not with her. Looking at the system, he discovered that the machine could not measure Jin Woo's rank and realized that Jin Woo was the 10th S-rank hunter in South Korea. Outside, Woo Jin-shul and Choi Gong-in were discovering the precious Red Gates incident and the meaning raid at Jeju Island. When they heard the rucka, they entered inside to find out that Jin Woo was asked to come back in the next 3 days to measure his rank. Chapter 63. Choi Jong-in was the guild master of hunters, an S-rank called the Ultimate Seldia. He possessed a top-tier tire magic which can destroy a building with a single spell. Choi Jong-in knew instinctively that Jin Woo was in Sierra rank, attempting to recruit him into his guild by striking up a conservation. He was refused flatly, wanting to engage Jin Woo further. He turned to see that he had left without making a sound trait of an assassin-type hunter Bak Yoon. He rushed in and seeing his disheveled state, Choi Jong-in realized that Jin Won must have been the outside in the previous Wild Tigers Guild Red Gate incident. They both realized that Jin Woo would be difficult to recruit. While in the hospital after checking up on his mom, Jin Won met Woo Jin-shul, who wanted to introduce him to the Hunter Association's chairman, Go Gun. During the introduction, Jin Woo deduced that Gun. He was an extraordinary S-rank hunter, even though he wore in his 60s. The main reason for the introduction was to help Jin Won flourish on a different path. Chapter 64. Currently, the country was not being ran by the government, but by the hunters who protect the citizens from monsters. At the very top was the Hunters Association, Go Gun. He proposed to help Jin Woo stand shoulder to shoulder with them. Jin Woo asked the reason for the offer. Do Gun. He replied that if Jin Won were to join any of the top 5 guilds, the balance would topple and there would be choose as nothing could keep the hunters in check. except the Hunters Association. Sung Jin-won thought about the proposal deeply before coming to a decision. In the end, he chose to fight. Go Gun. He was surprised, but seeing the passion in Jin-woo's eyes, he believed him. While leaving, Jin-won told Jin-chul that he was not the one who took care of the monster in the double lair. The first raid incident when Jin-won was on E rank, Go Gun. He felt a pleasant pulsation after his meeting with Jin-woo. Meanwhile, in the United States, Hongdong, Soo woke up in the hospital with several injuries. He recalled his fight with Sung, it was, and grimaced at his humiliating defeat. The deputy director had doubts whether War was a monster, as there was a clip of him saving civilians. Steng Dong-soo vowed to tear Sung. It War part when he was fully healed. Chapter 65, researching on the Hunter Auction, an offline or online market that allows hunters to purchase and sell equipment or materials obtained during raids. Jin-won realized that he needed a lot of money to buy a single equipment. Since fire attribute attacks were more frequency in the Demon Castle, he needed an equipment to protect himself. Looking through the system store, he couldn't find any suitable equipment, but to sell the Orb of Aware to purchase another equipment, he needed his S-rank license, which he doesn't have yet. Luckily, he saw a team that were recruiting. At the Hunters Association, Woo Jin-chul gave Chairman Go Gun Hee Jin-woo's file. Go Gun Hee was surprised at Jin-woo's tenacity as a former weak E-rank hunter. Jin-chul told the Ekiyamna about a report that Jin-woo had joined a raid team as a miner. This news had the chairman surprised. Jin-woo introduced himself on E-rank to the miner's boss. The gate was an A-rank, and being so the work had to be divided between the raiding team and the mining team, Choe-jong. In was amongst the hunters in the raid. He destroyed some monsters with a single spell. After the attack force were finished, the mining team prepared to go in. Amongst the hunters was an S-rank hunter, a woman. The Vice Master of the Hunters, Chapter 66, Sha Hae-sin, S-rank, and the Vice Master of the Hunters was a terminable hunter. Jin-woo reckons that she would be on a similar level to Go Gun Hee. Hae-in glanced at Jin-woo's direction. She had felt a strong presence, but it had completely disappeared before she could put a finger to it. At the mining team entered the A-ranked gate, Jin-woo felt the waves of magical energy, which further proved the rank of the dungeon. Some of the members were doubtful of what Jin-woo's performance in T-gate would be, as he was an E-rank. One of them attempted to intimidate, humanly to feel intimidated instead. The collecting team to collect the Master's Casper were already doing their job. The boss was still inside, but in its rest, so the mining team and collecting team have to do their job quick. While working, the mining team was surprised at Jin-woo's strength and doubted his rank. But the team leader cleared their doubts and announced that they were on lunch break. Jin-woo said he would continue working. When he was left alone, he rushed in the direction of the boss rest, realizing that with his current level, he could defeat the boss, but there would be losses on the Hunters Guild side. The debated within himself when he heard a voice asking him what he was doing there. Chapter 67, Jin-woo froze on hearing the voice. It was Cha Hae-in's. Knowing it was a close call, he told her that he'd get lost and ended up there. Hae-in told him to step back, as it was the boss rest, and angering it could lead to cost of lives. As he passed by her, Hae-in realized that Jin-woo didn't stink to her. Rather, he smelled nice. Ha-yin always experienced a foul smell when she was ground hunters. She wondered if Jin-woo didn't stink because the war on E-rank. When Jin-woo met with the other members of the mining team, they expressed their jealousy at him conversing with Cha Hae-in. Jin-woo wondered if it was because of his being a player that he didn't stink to Hae-in, as he had experienced a similar situation before with the elf boss. Baduka, the mining team leader, was grateful to Jin-woo for his hard work, which helped them finish 2 hours ahead of time. He wanted to recruit Jin-woo, but he declined. The man asked if he could join them the next day as the B team were raiding then. Jin-woo's agreed, in a restaurant in the city. Tujin his war having a drink with his cousin Yo So-gun. He told her about him being a guild master in the near future, an ambition he needed Jin-woo help with, but Jin-woo wasn't replying his calls. On the TV, there was a talk of an Halleuster, Lee Min a hunter evaluation. Yo Soo-hyun grimaced as the actor was already evaluated and was merely seeking attention. After reaching a boss, she snatched Jin-woo's phone and dialed Jin-woo's number, who replied his phone. Feeling emotional, Jin-hee expressed his need to see Jin-woo, who promised to meet up with him during the evening of the next day. In an apartment, Chae-in called someone to find her some information on Sung Jin-woo. Chapter 68. Heian felt suspicious about finding Jinwoo, Riri the boss room. She felt he were a spy from Anther Guild. She was shocked, however, to discover that Master Choi also wanted information on Jinwoo. Unfortunately, the Hunter Association had put a lock on his data, which was highly suspicious. Kaiten wondered why Jinwoo was different from the other hunter, as he smelled nice to her. The mining team were welcoming to Jinwa's the next day. After working for a while, they decided to rest for a bit. The leader of the raid requested if one of them could join them, as their porter didn't came. The collecting team had already disagreed, as they had to work 3 hours non-stop due to the mining team finishing quickly. None of the mining member wanted to came forward, as the risk due was too high. Jinwoo volunteered, but the others tried to dissuade him, as he could lose his life. The hunter introduced himself as Sun Ki-hoen to Jinwoo. There were EIA rank hunters, 6B rank hunters in the raid. Jinwoo felt an ominous feeling as he powered inside the walls, unaware that the system had activated. They were all determined to conquer the monster, but a surprise was waiting for them. Chapter 69. The surprise was in the farm of dungeon jackals. Because the monsters were law level, it was baffling that they could be in an A-rank gate. This implied that they were the monster boss hunting dogs. As the current threats arrived in form of high ones, the hunters were a bit put off. As the battle ensued, Sun Ki-hoen realized the vast difference in the strength. The monsters had high magic resistance, so the major couldn't last longer either. The battle was at a huge disadvantage on the hunters' part. 22 high arcs against 17 of the A-rank hunters could still hold their ground with an high work, but B-rank hunter were another matter. Ki-soon Ho shouted that they should split into 3-man groups to avoid being surrounded. While leading one of the hunters after fighting with a high ore, the healer was shocked to see the high ore. The healer was shocked to see the high ore advancing in her, still alive. Before it could get to he, Jinwoo finished the arc off. The image the hunter saw was the high arc ripped apart while in air. Chapter 70. Using his stealth skill, Jinwoo helped the hunters in the battle with the high auras. Ki-soon noticed that the fight was relatively easier, as one of them had killed an high ores. While helping them, Jinwoo leveled up. He didn't interfere much, and the attack force finished off all the high are oblivious of Jinwoo's support. There were no casualties, but one of the mages noticed Jinwoo's stealth skill. The hunter who saw the high R ripped apart narrated the scenario to Ki-hoen. Ki-hoen was surprised, but none of the major reported doing that. The mage who noticed Jinwoo's skill decided not to say anything. Because of the danger they just passed through, most of the hunters didn't want to go further. Ki-hoen agreed. Being their leader, his opinion counted. As they were about to leave, they encountered a barrier filled with high-level magic, which was the monster's boss Dang. The barrier was imbued with curse magic, which affected the mages. Ki-hoen felt more than a bit shaken. Chapter 71. Ahead of the hunters are over 50 high ores. The leader approached Ki-hoen and spoke. It languaged before switching to Korean. It introduced itself as Kargalgan. The hunters were shocked that it could speak in a human language, but it was however a puppet controlled by someone else. Kargalgan was the Or's greatest sorcerer, whose magic could not be dispelled by humans. He gave them 2 choices, die by his men or follow them. Hai-hoon chose to follow the High Ors. He told Jinwoo to make a run for the gate and contact the guild when they reached the boss room. Their objective was to close the gate rather than make it out alive. He didn't want Jinwoo to die. One for the hunters gave Jinwoo her will to pass to her family when he made it out. Outside the gate, Heian was asking the mining team if Jinwoo was around when she was told that he was inside the gate as the porter. She felt his actions suspicious and decided to go inside the gate. Carrying no weapon, she was given a pickaxe as there were no other weapons available. Inside the boss room, the boss welcomed the hunters with a chilling greeting. Chapter 72. With the members of High Ores in the room, Ki-hoen realized that if they broke out of the gate, they could wipe out a small city before the main hunter force arrive. Ki-hoen hoped that at least they eliminate the boss. So with the orc sorcerer and the 4 guards surrounding the boss, that poured a great feat. The boss released such magical energy that made the hunters shake in fear. Realizing that they could have been killed earlier, Ki-hoen found out from the boss that he had brought them there for entertainment. Feeling justifiably angry, Ki-hoen urged the hunters to charge as he swung his sword at the boss. The arc activated the him-protecting magic, which knocked Ki-hoen into the ground. Using gravitation magic, the monster boss knocked Ki-hoen into the ground. sustained grave injuries. Jin-woo asked him if he could kill all the monsters in the room, a request which shocked Ki-hoon. As Jin-woo said this, he killed a high orc. Asking one more time, Ki-hoon begged him to help them. The monster boss was sure of his army, but he had no idea Jin-woo would summon his shadows. Chapter 73. The Hunter's Inspectors from the Monitoring Division arrived at the dungeon scene. Jin-chul was surprised at Jin-woo working as a miner for 2 days. When he asked his whereabouts, he was told Jin-woo was working as a porter inside the gate, the miner who failed to intimidate Jin-woo. The other day felt sure Jin-woo was a Vicinalas the inspectors were leaking for him. Jin-chul was given the details of the raid, and the fact that Hayen was also inside showed the severity of the situation. While measuring the gate's rank, they realized it was one for the most dangerous A-rank gates. The previous measurement had been wrong. They had to go inside, entering inside. The Hayen was surprised at the number of High Orcs corpses on the dungeon floor. The energy from the boss proved that Ki-hoon's team might not survive for long. The monster boss believed that Jin-woo's meager number of shadows could not defeat his army, but they put up a good fight. The hunters were shocked he could summon such large numbers. With the hymn of the fire dragon, the monster boss destroyed quite some shadows, but Jin-woo was undaunted. Using potions, he replenished his mana, but knowing he couldn't hold out on potions, he summoned the dead ores in the room. The boss was shocked seeing Jin-woo's power. He wanted to say something, but he glitches. Chapter 74. The monster boss had wanted to say monarch of something but couldn't complete his statement. The monsters had a single order which kept whispering in their heads to hunt down the humans. The boss ordered one of his guards to kill Jin-woo shadows, but Jin-woo's soldiers were superior as they defeated them. Jin-woo was aware of his rapidly depleting mana and knew he had to finish the boss off quickly. The hunters wanted to join in, but a few curses from the boss dispelled them at once. Uttering more curses at Jin-woo, he was shocked when Jin-woo rebuffed all of them. Using the Orb of Aware, Jin-woo attacked Kargalan. She arrived at the scene and was shocked to see a lot of summoned creatures. She rushed to the hunters, who also had no idea of what was happening. Uttering more curses, Kargalan charged at Jin-woo. But being a huge target, he was no match for Jin-woo's assassin speed and the Orb of Aware. Chapter 75. Jin-chul and his assistant entered the baffling sight in the monster boss room. They were surprised at seeing Jin-woo's summoned creatures. Seeing the something sight of Jin-woo defeating the Ores, they realized their help was not needed. Hayen was surprised that the monitoring division had an interest in Jin-woo, who still remained a mystery to the most. With a final strike at the monster boss, it was slain. Jin-woo leveled up greatly, although a number of high Ores were still being dealt with. It was not much trouble. Jin-woo decided to extract the shadow of the corpses. Extracting Kargalan's corpse, he named him Tusks. The hunters were shocked at Jin-woo's ability. Absorbed in extracting shadows, Jin-woo was a bit shocked to see Jin-chul approaching him. He saw Hayen as well. The hunters started asking questions about Jin-woo's ability, which Jin-chul rebuffed by telling them all not to disclose the events of the dungeon outside. The hunters expressed their sincere gratitude to Jin-woo for helping them out. Jin-woo gave the hunter her will. Hayen wanted to talk to Jin-woo, but he was already being led out. She felt a bit shy of Jin-woo developing a crush. In the script's conclusion, a captivating teaser passionately encourages fans not to overlook the upcoming animated adaptation of Solo Leveling chapters 46 to 75. The anticipation builds for a visually striking and emotionally charged finale that pledges to breathe life into the series, creating a lasting impact on its dedicated audience. Prepare for an extraordinary conclusion that raises the Solo Leveling experience to unprecedented levels, seamlessly intertwining action, emotion, and intrigue, reminding viewers not to miss the concluding parts. The script promises an epic climax that will resonate deeply, lingering in their memories well beyond the closing scenes. Get ready to be enthralled by the culmination of this exceptional storyline, where the convergence of storytelling, animation, and audience connection promises a truly unforgettable experience for Solo Leveling enthusiasts.